And now at this time, it is my tremendous pleasure to introduce our diamond sponsor, Hitachi, and none other to present than our very own David Green. David, welcome. Thank you for joining us this morning.
Thank you, Wendy. I was really enjoying that conversation that was going on there. And to be honest with you, I would have gladly given up my 15-minute spot just for them to continue talking because it was wonderful. Wendy, I'm very happy to be here with you. It's good to see you again. I was hoping that we would have seen each other in person in St. Lucia. Unfortunately, COVID had other plans. So thank you for setting up this wonderful virtual conference. Congratulations to you and to the team there at CAB and to Dalton. Wonderful opening ceremony last night, and we're happy to be here with you. So without further ado, let me just dive right into it. And ladies and gentlemen, let me just share my screen so that you can see what I'm going to show you. Okay, good. So you should be seeing my screen at this time. For those of you who don't know me, my name is David Green. I'm the Vice President for Sales here at Hitachi System Security. And over the next 10 minutes, I'm just going to give you a quick overview as to who we are, what we're about, and what we bring to the table, particularly for the members of CAB. I am very happy and honored to work with an organization that has a rich history like Hitachi. Hitachi has been around for the last 111 years, having been founded back in 1910, back in Tokyo, Japan. As at today, we have just about 850 plus subsidiary companies around the world, employing 351,000 thereabouts, of which obviously I'm one. And this organization has been at the forefront of technology and driving innovation. And this is captured in our value statement, or the watchwords, as we like to call it, wa makoto kaitakusha shaishen in Japanese, which translates to harmony, sincerity, and pioneering spirit. Is everyone seeing, if I could just get a quick thumbs up from the team in the back if you're seeing the screen. Okay, so let's see. Okay, let's try this one more time. Okay, all right. Okay, I think I am sharing. Perfect. Thank you guys. So the watchwords that we follow, we try to be in harmony with everyone that we come in contact with. More importantly, we try to ensure that there's genuine sincerity in all of the interactions that we have, and of course, bringing to the table the pioneering spirit, the innovations. This resonates very well with us at Hitachi System Security, because when you look at the relationship that we've had with the Caribbean, our relationship has spanned 20 years. We first entered the Caribbean in the year 2001. And over that 20-year period, we have maintained very long-standing relationships, some with many of you who are members of CAB. Ironically, our oldest customer, who's still obviously with us today, has been with us for 19 of those 20 years. So that speaks to the value that we place on the human relationships, similar to our parent company, Hitachi Limited. Hitachi's value is extremely unique. We've brought just about, let's say, 150 years thereabouts in terms of operational technology and IT when you combine the two. And those two have intersected together, and we're now very much having within our DNA the whole matter of the Internet of Things. So you'll find Hitachi in different spheres of life, and you will see us operating in smart city initiatives. You'll see us on the industrial side of life. I'm quite certain many of you across the Caribbean would have seen Hitachi heavy equipment somewhere doing some kind of road construction or what have you. And on the IT side of the house, we've been heavily involved in big data. We've been involved in cloud services, in providing data storage infrastructure and data analytics, etc. We have taken all of that and we've brought it to bear with Hitachi System Security, the cybersecurity firm. And today we are busy trying to converge cybersecurity and data privacy across those domains: IT, OT, IoT, and physical security. And in banking today, we're starting to see a lot of the IoT starting to show up in banking. And we're going to talk a little bit more about that later today when we get into the cybersecurity segment later this afternoon. But a little bit more now about who Hitachi System Security is. We're a full-service cybersecurity firm. We're focused wholly and solely on one thing and one thing only: trying to help organizations like the members of CAB grow their businesses under managed risk conditions. And what do I mean by that? We understand that at the end of the day, a business is only as agile, and there was a lot of talk about agility in the last session. A business is only as agile as the supporting environment that it operates in. And one thing that supports a business, of course, is technology, but more importantly, security. And there are three pieces to that puzzle: the people, the processes that you're using, and the technology. So we've spent 22 years, having started in 1999, building out our services, building out our processes, becoming experts at helping organizations manage their risk and at the same time grow the business. We offer two lines of service. One would be our 24/7 managed security services. And then the other side would be the advisory services, which we provide from a professional services perspective. These are the human experts, as I like to call them. And we focus cybersecurity and also on data privacy, something which is very key and paramount now more than ever, especially as we go into the post-pandemic era for the Caribbean. As I mentioned before, we've been around now since 1999. Our roots go deep and wide in the Caribbean. Our roots also spread throughout the rest of the world. We are working with just over 350 plus customers across 50 countries in North America, Latin America, Europe, Japan, and of course the Caribbean. We have all of the relevant pedigrees that one would expect a cybersecurity firm to have. We operate our head office out of Canada, and we've prided ourselves in maintaining that long-standing Canada-CARICOM relationship, and that plays well in our favor because we recognize that the Caribbean gets along really, really well with Canada. From a cybersecurity ability perspective, we run the gamut. So again, two distinct business services. There's the 24/7 managed security service, and then there's the professional advisory services. So starting at the top and working our way all the way to the bottom, we are doing everything from helping you understand what your posture is, what your security maturity actually is, help you understand what's the baseline, where are you today? And if I were to draw a line and draw some markers down and say maturity 0, maturity 1, all the way through to maturity 5, where do you fall? So we can baseline you and then help you, start you on a journey that would take you from one level to the next until you know that you have everything under proper control. The holy grail of our service would be our 24/7 monitoring service, which also includes instant response, something that is very, very critical today, especially when we're dealing in an environment that has a lot of ransomware attacks. Many times organizations are not sure what to do. They pick up the phone and they call me like, oh my gosh, David, what do I do now? We're under attack. Can you help me? Of course, the answer is yes, because instant response is part of what we do. But we don't only come in when something goes wrong. What we like to do is help organizations get ready, and from a proactive approach, prepare yourself so that when something does in fact happen, and it always will, you can manage it and minimize the impact, minimize the risk associated with it. The hot topic of the day is digital transformation. As we get into more and more of the sessions, digital transformation is coming out. We heard about it in the session this morning with Temenos. We heard about it again in the panel discussion that just preceded me. the need for transformation is high. The challenge with transformation is that it increases the attack surface. Now that we're in this pandemic era, as I like to call it, you find that there's a shift away from the traditional brick and mortar of the organization. And as a result of that, more and more persons are now on the fringe, or the remote workers, and the typical security infrastructure that would be afforded to them within the walls, the four walls of the organization, that security is not necessarily there. So now you have to think, how do I protect my remote workers and still enable them to get the job done? And then layer on top of that, the other challenge, which is, do I invest in on-premise infrastructure, or do I try to use on-premise and cloud infrastructure, a hybrid session, or do I just go into the cloud and just work there because maybe I can get economies of scale, it's cheaper, etc. These are all things that increase the attack surface, and it creates a lot of consternation. The good thing is we've figured out how to make this work. So, we're always able to help organizations as they make this journey through the digital transformation life cycle. So coming back to the point that I started on earlier about the convergence, traditionally, everything was centered around IT. And IT, a lot of organizations, especially coming out of my former banking life, they would like to have everything in one place where they can go up, they can put their hand against the glass, feel the coldness from the AC that's blowing, and know that all of my equipment is right there. But today, the environment is changing. Today, the environment also takes into consideration the industrial side of things. And while the term industrial does not necessarily apply to the banking sector, you do have the Internet of Things that's now being brought to bear in the banking sector. So wearables, for example, or contactless payments, being able to use your phone, and you tap your phone on the payment device and it automatically deducts the payment from your debit card, etc. And then the more important piece, which is bringing in the physical security. If you are able to converge all of this, you get a 360-degree view of what's happening inside of your organization. And this is where we're at today. We've successfully done the convergence, and we're building on top of that. As one would expect with any organization, whenever you're going through a crisis period, you utilize it. In fact, I had an economics professor back in university, and he had a mantra. He used to say, never waste a good problem, never waste a good recession. So over the last 18 plus months, we went back in, we were retooling, restructuring, coming up with some new items, and we rolled out 5 new services. One, malware resiliency, compromise assessment, the whole concept of the VCSO, or the virtual Chief Information Security Officer, the 6th generation of our security platform, which goes live very early in 2022. And more importantly, the addition of the SWIFT CSP attestation, something that's very important for financial institutions who leverage the SWIFT network. SWIFT has come up with a customer security control framework. The version 2019 and 2020, they actually allowed for organizations to self-attest. But with the onset of the pandemic for 2021, they said, okay, here's what we'd like you to do, or here's what we need you to do. We need you to work with someone else and have them independently attest to where you are today as it relates to the set of controls that's outlined in the customer security controls framework. So we are now listed as a security provider with SWIFT, and we bring our expertise to help member organizations like yourself around this particular area. Very quickly, to wrap things up, again, we've been with the Caribbean now for 20 years. The Caribbean is near and dear to our hearts. We're not going to be leaving the Caribbean anytime soon. Our parent company, Hitachi Systems Limited, and beyond that, Hitachi Limited, understand our love for the Caribbean, or deep attachment to the Caribbean. And we are committed to continuing to bring services that are relevant for the member banks in the region. And we are committed to continuing working alongside Wendy and the team at CAB. So to wrap things up, here are the Caribbean team members. Stephen Jutram, who's based in Trinidad and Tobago. He's our territory manager for the Caribbean. And you will notice that all of our mobile numbers carry Caribbean area codes. Both myself and Stephen have Caribbean area codes. So that, again, says the commitment that we have to the Caribbean. So that's my time. Feel free, stop by our booth. Come interact with us, have conversations. We're happy to engage with you, and we look forward to the rest of the day, and we definitely look forward to the rest of the conference. Wendy, back to you.
Thank you so much, David. As always, it's a pleasure hosting you, and thank you again for your confidence in sharing the stage with us and sharing your sponsorship with us through our first virtual conference. It says a lot when sponsors are willing to make that jump into the unknown with you, from the physical to the virtual, because really and truly everything is possible. So thank you so much.
You're quite welcome. You're quite welcome.
All right.